Controversial calls in his side's loss to the Panthers on Friday night, namely the decision to penalise Sam Verrills for a tackle on Scott Sorensen. Today, the NRL was forced to admit they got that one wrong.
Yeah, that's just a horrible decision. You know, that we shouldn't let a try in on the end of it. That's not the... But, I mean, there were so many poor decisions tonight. We had same referee last game, and it was like 30-odd offsides, you know, and it was a 3-1 penalty count. And it was like, well, this is normal. And then, you know, every opportunity, it was, you know, Sammy Verrills won. You know, we also had, obviously, the sin binning, which was, you know, we're not playing rugby union. You either stop the game, send him off, send him to the bin there. You don't give them opportunities. And then the offsides on the try line, it was just keep giving them opportunity. That was the field position.
We don't believe there's any reason why this tackle should have been penalised. And in this case, you're right, the try followed shortly thereafter, after this penalty, and it was again at a critical part of the game leading up to the break. And so, yeah, you know, we would prefer these things don't happen, but, you know, people are humans, they make errors, and this was an error.
Yeah, a number of big calls that they got wrong in this game. Trent Robinson obviously not happy, very outspoken after the game. I don't care who you go for, whether you love or hate the Roosters. If you watch that game against the Panthers, the refereeing was terrible. It was terrible. It cost the Roosters the game. There was 3 or 4 incidents just clearly that stood out that were just so wrong. This was one of the worst calls I've ever seen.
Isn't that a textbook tackle?
It is.
To get down low like that and on a big fella that far out from the line. And...
I actually thought Verrills had lost business. Like, he'd slipped himself, so he had no choice. The penalties for putting your ball runner in a dangerous position. He didn't put him anywhere. He basically just got him down as best he could.
It was a terrible, terrible decision. And the Crichton one to go to the sin bin 4 plays later after an alleged infringement, right? Now, I rate Peter Volandis the best administrator this game's ever had. But he did a piece with Paul Crawley today defending the referees. And I was really disappointed in it that Peter came out and said it, because there's some fans out there, and we're going to get to Canberra next, and the Roosters. They're on 14 competition points. I wrote a piece in the paper this morning, Kenny. There's been 80 coaches of NRL clubs since 2010. Careers are on line with some of these mistakes, with borderline clubs fighting for their survival, fighting to make the victim of these mistakes. I think they have to bring back a second referee to work the ruck and nothing else.
So, you know, it sounds great. It sounds great, but we're not counting on human error here. And this is, for years, the game has coached the referees. They're basically a high-performance unit who are cared for as well as the clubs are these days. That was an insistence Bob Fulton brought in years ago, that if you're going to be serious, they need to become like the NRL 17th franchise. So they are looked after. They are paid to be professional. And the fact is they have no understanding of the game. And that's their big issue.
I actually feel sorry for them, Kenty, because the game and the rule changes and the speed.
I don't disagree.
This is why I think they need more help. They need one person just to referee the ruck.
But, Buzz, we had an incident earlier in the year where the referee got it right and doop-de-doo in the video bunker set it out with Matt Lodge taking the dive, and they overturned the referee's decision. He got sacked from the bunker.
This is what you and me had a blue about last week from Origin. All I want's consistency. You know, if Crichton's going to be pulled back and binned 4 plays later, I hope the next bloke who does it, that's all I'm dirty about.
Maybe Sutton just had a bad night. And as players, we all have bad nights. Yeah. And then you know what happens when you have a bad night? Sometimes you're not playing the next week. So maybe he shouldn't be reffing this week after that. You just got to take a hit. But he's normally a good referee. You got it wrong the other night. I don't know if we need to change all the referees and have 2 referees.
The Verrills one, the Crichton one I can live with, Buzz, because they've got to play the advantage.
It was 4 plays later, Dave.
Advantage has to be played to the team. And there was an opportunity for the Panthers on their line. But as far as the Verrills one, what is the technology doing? Like everybody saw it. Yeah, everyone saw it. And
but once he blows that penalty, you can't put. Once he blows that, they can't go, oh, mate, that's not a penalty. It's too late. But I get what you're saying, but they didn't even have time to react. This is what I mean. He just had a bad night. He panicked. He had a brain explosion.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
It's a shocker. Anyway, meanwhile, Ricky Stewart has taken aim at referee Peter Goff over his refusal to blow a penalty in the dying seconds of the Raiders' clash with the Dragons. And today, the NRL admitted the ref made the wrong call.
Should you have had a penalty at the end there, do you think, or?
What do you think?
Potentially for offside.
Yeah, well, I've only seen it once.
Yeah, it looked like maybe not square at the markers.
I only need to see it once, mate. But tomorrow I'll get an apology, or there'll be justification of there not being a penalty. When you're in high performance business, there's always going to be pressure. And when there's pressure, you need courage. You need to be courage on that ruling in the last play of the day.
We believe that a penalty should have been awarded in this incident. In the case of either the offside, the flop, or the not square at marker, any of those three could have been determined to be a professional foul and could have resulted in not only a penalty but a sin bin. It's not about apologies. You know, I've never stood up here in 4 years and apologised to a club, because it's not my place to apologise for someone who's just made an error. You know, they don't mean to do it. They don't do it on purpose. We're just trying to explain the circumstances.
It's time now for Teeing Off, brought to you by TaylorMade Golf's new Stealth Irons, the ultimate in forgiveness and distance, so you can expect better shots more often. I think I know what we'll be teeing off on tonight, Kenty, with your new Stealth TaylorMade driver. What do you got for us?
Oh, look, I just want to talk about that. Now, it's not Graham Annesley's job to get up and apologise, but the Raiders have been apologised to over that. There was 3 incidents in 2 tackles there where they could have put players in the sim. The referee got it wrong. Totally got it wrong, OK? Now, he could have used a professional foul. Instead, he just went on the 6 again. The 6 again rule has to be exterminated from the game. OK, we all came in and we waxed lyrical, and there have been some great benefits to it. But when you have a rule in the game where it is more advantageous to break the rule and cop the penalty than it is to actually obey the rule, then it's a bad rule. And that's what the Dragons here, they just laid all over and they just broke the rules. They're offside at marker and they laid all over with a flop because they knew that a 6 again, if that's the way the referee went, which is a mistake, but it's the way he did go, that it didn't damage them. There was 6 seconds left in the game and they were defending their try line. It's such a... If you can continue to break the rule like that, they need to start putting blokes off the field, but they also need to start getting this rule right. There's too many teams happily conceding 6 again so they can just basically keep resetting their line behind slow play the balls. So it negates the value of the rule.
If you intentionally break the rules to gain advantage, it's a professional foul. Ben Hunt did it twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
One for the flop.
Didn't even get penalised.
Now, Kenty, if that had happened in the 20th minute of the game, they would have blown a penalty, not a 6 again.
But, okay.
They would have had the courage to, but the game was on the line.
I get that, Buzz. But that shouldn't matter that the game was on the line. That comes down to what Ricky Stewart was saying about courage. But the other part is this, OK? We've had 3 coaches sacked already this season. We've got a 4th now who's looking over his shoulder, OK, in Justin Holbrook. The Raiders are on 14 points. If you gave them the 2 points that they conceivably could have got there, a penalty would have made it 12-10, sent it into Golden Point. Earlier in the year, round 8, I think it was, when they played the Warriors.
Matt Lodge
admitted he dived. The referee actually got it right, but the video referee came in and said, OK, no, that's a penalty, which then put that game into extra time, which the Warriors then won in extra time. That puts the Raiders on 18 points in the top 8. Now, every club will tell you the difference between finishing 10th and that 8th appearance, that top 8 appearance. It is so vital to every club how they view their season. And to sit down and when you've got 2 end-of-game decisions that have cost the Raiders 4 points, OK, that is significant. And the House of Apology in there, seriously, the NRL, they've got to start acting up a bit and figure out ways to get this right, because it's just not good enough to sit there every time and go, got that one wrong, sorry about that. Better luck next week. Blokes are losing their jobs over this.
That's probably where the bunker could have come in there. They had time to look at that. They're watching it. It happened over probably, 10 or 20 seconds to go, hang on, that's a penalty, that's a professional foul. At that point, the whole world saw it.
Hear what you're saying about the 6 tackle rule, get it. But if the referee does his job and blows a penalty there and or puts Ben Hunt in the sin bin...
You're right. You're right there, though, Dave, except for the fact that in other periods of the game, teams are just giving 6 away, okay? Happy to go from having to defend 6 tackles to now 8 tackles, because that's if it's tackle 2 and you get a 6 again, it's not like you go to 12. It's really only goes up to 8, okay? And there is, and you talk to the teams. A lot of the teams will talk about how there's a tipping point when the 6 agains come. The first time, if a team's pressing your line and you concede a 6 again to get your line set again, they'll keep coming at you. But after they've had 2 or 3, suddenly the pressure goes on the attack. Hang on, we've had all these 6 agains. We need to score here. So then what happens is they then begin to force, just subconsciously force the ball to try and get a result. And the defences know that. And again, that's my point.
My argument with a ruck referee, a second referee, and the guy who's fatigued and's been doing 79 minutes, that's all he's got to do. Ping incidents like that. Takes so much.
But Buzz, the simple blowback on that is that's the referee's job too. We all saw it.
He picked it up. He waved 6 again. He warned Ben Hunt to stay offside.
Exactly. It's not like he missed it.
He got it. He just didn't make the right call.
We don't need another referee at the ruck, in my opinion. You've got the main referee there. You've got the bunker. Numerous people in the bunker watching it 24/7.
The bottom line is the system we have now is not working, and 2 teams on 14 points got dudded on the weekend.
Exactly, and there will always be human error. Okay,
of course there will be.
But what we need to do is we need to get the coaches. The coaches are the referees are refereeing like robots at the moment. Okay, they are looking. They've got all the little indicators every tackle, where they've got an arm here, they've got here, all the levers that they're grabbing hold of. Okay, they've got the bloke in the ear talking, telling him to look for this and look for that. There's no feel for the game. Anyone watching that game on the weekend saw what Sir George Illawarra were doing and knew straight away it was a deliberate foul design to stop the Raiders from a chance of winning the game. It had to be a penalty. And yet the referee's just going through his little checkpoints, and because he's going through that, he's got no emotion invested in the game. He's got no feel for the game.
He's overstressed. He's got too much going on.
Oh, God, OK.